no place like the Qube.
Hey, I'm Adell.
And I'm Anna.
And we are AD Productions. Get ready to nod your head and laugh out loud as we bring an unfiltered perspective to Black life in predominantly white spaces. So, welcome to the Head Nod, Season 1, Black Life at a PWI. A piece about life at a PWI. In echoing halls where knowledge thrives, Black lives weave tales, rich and wise. Amidst towers and books, their stories rise. In a PWI, their spirit flies. Thank you.
Welcome to the Head Nod.
Bum, bum, bum.
Yes, indeed. Welcome to the Head Nod family. We are back with another episode, and we are so excited to have our sister friend LaTrice in the building.
Hey.
Ba, 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 ba.
Boom, boom, boom.
I love that intro.
It's totally co-opted, and we enjoy it.
Totally.
Now, I got to tell y'all about our sister friend LaTrice, okay? She is an award-winning podcast producer, host, and speaker. She is also a dual licensed mental health counselor who creates opportunities for brands to scale and connect with their audiences through live events and shows. Welcome, LaTrice.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here with y'all. I've been waiting on this day for a long time.
Yes, indeed.
Yes. And she from New Orleans.
I is.
Period.
I is. Yes, I is.
Now, every new guest that comes on the show, we ask them to share with us the name of their school and y'all's call out. So, for example, I went to Drake, and it is DU, go Bulldogs as well, I guess. And then for Adell.
Did you just add a piece?
Yep.
This whole time you have not been saying that. But all right,
Nope.
yes, do your thing.
Kelly said it, so now I'm going to say it.
True. Yes.
And then for Adell with Penn State, it is
We Are, and the response is Penn State. Yes.
Mm-hmm. So, LaTrice, what you got?
I graduated from the University of Louisiana at Lafayette. Go Cajuns.
Ooh,
Oh,
y'all are seasoning?
We are.
Is it the salt free?
We are.
Y'all the seasonings. I love it. Go seasoning.
Go
Yes.
Cajuns.
Go Cajuns.
Listen.
Was there like a hand
Was that
thing?
a C? What
Go
is
Cajuns, go Cajuns. So, oh no, like this, UL,
Okay.
UL. So we are,
Oh.
yeah. So our mascot is the Raging Cajuns. It's a big ass red chili pepper.
I love that.
Yes.
yes.
Yes. And so we say go Cajuns. Go Cajuns.
I love that it's the Raging Cajuns. Yes.
Well, it's in Lafayette,
Me
Louisiana,
too.
which is the heart of Cajun town, you know. So
Absolutely. Makes sense.
and it's a college city, if that makes sense, you know. So like the city kind of revolves around the university. The city is a city in and of itself, and there's all kind of pockets and lots of things to do, but it really, like, everybody in the area went to UL, you know. So yeah, it's a pretty big school.
That's dope. You know, I get that. That's how our University Park campus is. It's like the school, and then everything is built around it, which is crazy. So, yay, Raging Cajuns.
Yeah,
I love that.
Go Cajuns. Go Cajuns.
Yeah. Yes.
So we always ask our guests, why did they choose to go to a PWI?
So I didn't necessarily choose to go to a PWI. I chose to go to UL, if that makes sense, you know. When I didn't really know I had a choice to not go to college, that was not really an option in my household. And so in New Orleans, it's like, you know, everybody tends to kind of go to the same schools. And there's lots of HBC. Well, there's Xavier University, in New Orleans, and then there's also Dillard University, both of which are HBCUs. But I never really had like a thought of going to a HBCU. It just for me was getting out of New Orleans. Like I just didn't want to go to school in New Orleans. I wanted to leave. And so UL was literally the only school that I applied to, because one of my friends growing up, Jason, shout out to Jason Roussel. Hey, Jay. But he was the only person that I knew, well, that I thought I knew at UL. And he was a year ahead of me. And so I wanted to go somewhere that I didn't know anyone and somewhere that was away from New Orleans. And so UL was like 2.5 hours away. And so it was like, okay, I think I can make this work because it's close enough that if I need to come home or if my daddy need to come see about me, he could get there in one day, but it's far enough away to feel like I am away from home. So it wasn't so much about specifically choosing a PWI. It was location for me was the most important thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So what did you get into on campus? What is LaTrice doing? First year student. We at UL.
With the Raging Cajuns.
Listen,
The Raging Cajuns.
I got into everything. Let me tell you, everything. I'm talking about from literal freshman orientation. Like when we went to, so UL is the kind of town, or UL is the kind of school that we actually have a very strong Black student body at UL. So I never felt like I really was like missing out on anything because we had such a strong Black student body. And so we had, the NPHC, we had all of the Greek letter organizations, even Iota Phi Theta, okay? Put some respect on them, all right?
Mm-hmm.
But
even the Iotas was on campus. Yeah, y'all Black.
Listen, we had
this ain't a normal PWI.
You know what? It was the pause for me that said put some respect on
because
them. I know
people be
that's
disrespecting
right.
Iota,
Yes.
you know what I'm saying? But don't do them that. Don't do them that. They in there. But like we had everything that you would have at any other school. We had parties. I'm talking about parties on top of party. I did not miss a party. Actually, I missed one party. I'll tell y'all that story later if we get into it. But parties, we had fashion shows, we had pageants, we had like the Miss Black and Gold pageant, which was the Alphas had that pageant. We had like I said, fashion shows, talent shows, comedy shows. We had everything. And then we had a place called the Keg, girl, that was walking distance from the school, from the dorms. And the Keg was about this big. And the Keg used to be packed. I'm talking about packed, wall to wall packed. There was a sign on the stage at the Keg that said dance at own risk.
What you do, LaTrice? You was dancing?
Girl, I did not.
You took the risk.
You took that
not
risk.
on that stage, girl. Because listen, it was a drop.
You said nah.
It only take one time to see somebody fall off that stage to be like, nah, that ain't it for me.
He's like, it's not for me.
I'm gonna stay over yonder.
It's not my calling.
Yeah, but we had a really great time. Like we were able to really bond with each other. Like I think because we had such a strong community of Black students at UL, and there was so much diversity in activities and different things to be a part of. It allowed us to really bond with each other because we really were spending all of our time with each other. But it was big enough, though, that there was still people that you didn't know. Like you didn't necessarily know every Black face on campus, but you probably knew most of them. If they went out and stuff like that. So it's like I did everything. I'm talking about I thoroughly enjoyed my collegiate experience at UL. And it's even now, like my friends that I have, lifelong friends that I met at UL, we look back on that time very fondly. It was like a golden era. I was at UL from 2000 to 2004. And something about that time period, like it went hard. We went hard at UL. We
Yeah.
thoroughly enjoyed ourselves.
So you got the parties, the fashion shows, the pageants, the hanging out with all the black people clubs. So I would say, what would be like one of your most favorite things that you did? You said you went to the parties. I want to know about that. But like, yeah, so kind of dig deeper. Tell us what you was doing at them parties. What was you
Well,
getting into?
I'm a people watcher, so I was watching people, okay. And I'll never forget. We went to there was a Omega party at girl, what was the name of that place? But it was an Omega party. That was the first time I heard "Feeling on Your Booty" by R. Kelly, because I remember the song came on, and the mood, the mood was set. Okay, the lights was off, and all of that stuff. And I remember I looked over across the dance floor, and I saw my best friend getting felt up. I'm talking about hand under the dress, and I was like,
Ooh.
"Oh, this is." Oh, okay. Okay, that was the first time I ever heard that song, and it has stuck with me, But there was so many things that I did at UL that I still have fond memories of today. I would say in terms of like activities and things like that. Pledging, I pledged Delta Sigma Theta in spring 2004. I think that would probably be my favorite thing that I did because it was a lifelong goal and a lifelong dream of mine. And I love my sisters. Shout out to the 16 Cries of Confusion, Theta Xi, Springle 4. Okay. But
Okay.
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 And so it is.
And so
All
is
right.
his. But in terms of like my favorite experience at UL, it was really like the relationships that I was able to develop while I was there. I was a part of a group of friends that like we're still friends today. And we really like held each other down. I'm talking about it's 11 o'clock at night. They had a Taco Bell right up the street on campus, right on the edge of campus. And so we used to scrape together our little coins because like if you had $1.50 at that time, $1.50 you could get you a chicken grilled stuffed burrito. Okay. And so we would piece together our little pennies and things, and three people could eat off that grilled stuff. And so we would do that. And like just the memories of like us being in the dorm and just like toughing it out together and growing up together. Like I remember my friend Ed, shout out to Ed. Ed introduced me to Cocoa, what is it? Not Cocoa Pebbles, but the little balls, the Cocoa Puffs cereal.
Cocoa
Cocoa
Puffs.
Puff cereal was a
Hmm.
thing. Okay, we were stretching and surviving. I remember we had the in-house like movie channel on the campus television. We had the in-house movie channel, and they would play Jeepers Creepers all the time. Okay. And I just remember like 15 of us sitting in a little bitty, room, a little bitty dorm room, watching Jeepers Creepers and just having a good time. We watched the Temptations together. Like just those moments, like those times and experiences of like us just really just hanging out and being kids together and just like, growing into adulthood together. And a lot of those relationships I still have, like literally to this day. And so I think that was my favorite experience of UL.
So what did you study in undergrad?
So, my degree, I have a bachelor's of science in psychology with a minor in child and family studies. So, I was a psychology major. I started off as an English major at freshman orientation, and I actually changed my major at freshman orientation because I don't really like to read. And I'm not ashamed to say that. Judge your mom, okay?
Not judging.
I don't really enjoy reading. I like to get the information, but I'm not a bookworm or anything like that. But I'm good at it. I'm good at reading and I'm good at writing. So I came in as an English major, but I changed my major to psychology. At freshman orientation, and I really kind of say like it found me because I had literally never even heard the word psychology before I went to freshman orientation and learned about it and changed my major ultimately. But yeah, that was my major, psychology with a minor in child and family studies.
What were your classes like? What were those experiences?
The classes were very interesting. So, okay, let me tell y'all this story. My first day of
Can't
college,
wait.
listen,
Let's go.
I'm not gonna say sheltered, but I'm from New Orleans, but like we grew up in Marrero. And so this, for all the people who know New Orleans and know how that works. New Orleans is like the city, and then like the West Bank is kind of like the suburb kind of area, and so it's a whole big thing. Like if you're not from in the city, then you ain't from New Orleans. But y'all could kiss my ass because I'm from New Orleans. So, but I grew up in Marrero. Like our house was in Marrero. So I went to private school. I had a lot of stability, growing up and things like that. And so we, all of our um everybody that I knew was just like me. I wore a uniform my entire life. Like UL was the first public school that I had ever went to. And so I didn't really have no wardrobe. I didn't really have no clothes like that. So I remember my first day, I wore one of those heather gray t-shirts, that change color when you sweat. And I had to walk to Griffin Hall, which anybody that went to UL, Griffin Hall is the furthest point of campus. And everybody at some point in their collegiate journey at UL had to go to Griffin Hall. And it's a whole thing because it's a trek and you only got like 10 minutes to get down there. You know what I'm saying? And it's a lot of people. The elevators always packed. Like it's a thing. Okay. So my first day of college, my heather gray shirt had done turned dark gray on me. I'm talking about the girl was sweating. Okay. The girl was sweating. So I ended up sitting in the back of every one of my classes. Literally the back, because I didn't want everybody seeing all my sweat on my shirt, So I ended up sitting in the back corner of every single class. And that's kind of, where you sit on the first day. That's your seat for the year, So my first semester, it was good, but it was a little rocky because, I'm not a backseat of the classroom kind of girl.
Right.
So as I moved on throughout the years and stuff and got better clothes and got, like really started coming into my own, I sit in the front of the class. I enjoyed all of my classes. I had one class that I actually failed. And I've never failed a class before in my life before that point. But it was abnormal psychology and the teacher wrote the book. Like literally, the teacher wrote, like we couldn't even purchase the book. He had to email it to us and we had to print the book. It was like a PDF, like he wrote the book, So I failed that class twice. And I had to take that again and again. And then, again. And
you said, I don't like your book.
Right. Give us another book.
Listen, but
I need a new edition.
Listen, but I feel like, I got a really good education. Like the foundation of my understanding of the field of psychology is solid. Can't nobody question me about whether or not I know what I'm talking about. Because those teachers really made sure that we got the information that we need. And I'm the kind of student that if I don't understand, ain't nobody moving on. Like I'm going to ask the question and I'm going to keep asking it until I understand it. I don't care if y'all understand it. I don't understand it. So I'm going to ask this question again. So I feel like we got a really good foundation and the education at UL is top notch. It really is.
I know you said you the first day you were into English and then you went to psychology. How did that come about? Like, did you talk to the mentor, the advisors? How did you end up getting into this field?
So, like I said, I started as an English major and I got to freshman orientation, and that was the last year. Excuse me. We used to have our course catalog was a newspaper. old school. It was a newspaper. Okay. The next year we went digital, the very next year, but that was the last year that they had the newspaper. So I was going through the newspaper, like to select classes and stuff like that. And you used to have to call in to schedule your classes. And I saw psychology. And I was like, oh, what is that? And it said, it's the study of human behavior. And I was like, oh, I enjoy human behavior. I'm a people watcher. That was interesting to me. And so I looked at some of the courses and the course descriptions, and I was like, you know what? I think, this is something that's very interesting to me. Like it just felt like something I wanted to learn. And that's how I ended up in psychology. And, like I said before, I feel like it chose me because it ended up being exactly where I was supposed to be. Like it really spoke to who I am as a human. Yeah.
Did you find that there were a lot of Black folks in your college? Were you like one of hundreds of people, one Black person in a field of hundreds of people in your class?
No, it was a good mix. I would say it was a decent mix. But a lot of Black and brown people tend to go into the helping professions. It's just we are helpful by nature. Excuse me, we are helpful by nature. And so, if anything, I think the psychology department probably had more Black folks in it than some of the other departments, maybe other than like business or like sports management or something like that. But it was a really decent mix of people. I will say, though, I would have liked to see more Black professors in the psychology department. We did have some, one of which tried to marry me off to a African prince. For real, for real.
Um,
Listen,
Hold on.
okay.
Hold
Nope.
on.
Oh,
listen,
full stop.
Right. We're not about to breeze over that.
listen.
So, what's
Dr.
the tease?
Moorhead.
What happened?
We had this Black woman, Dr.
Well,
Moorhead, a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Black woman. And she was, dreadlocks down her back and like, head wraps and, like ankh earrings and ankh neck. Like she was blackety black, black, black. And so, of course, I was in love. I was in love. And because I had not really come to like where I am now, like in terms of being very comfortable in my Blackness, and being very explorative of my Blackness and like championing the Black community. I had not quite reached that point then. So Dr. Moorhead was kind of like this, this Minerva just standing there. And I was very interested in getting to know her. So I took her class one summer, African American Studies class. And we had a guest that came from Nairobi. He was a priest. But he was also like, no, he was a priest, not a prince, a priest. And he came to talk to us about the genocides, and about apartheid and stuff like that. And so she asked me to host him on campus for the days that he was there. So showing him around campus, taking him to lunch, stuff like that. And I really didn't think nothing of it. I was honored that she asked me of all people, to do that. So I'm showing him around and everything. So we had dinner at lunch one day, and he says, you should come to Nairobi. He said, in Nairobi, you would be treated like a queen. And I was like, oh, thanks, but no thanks. Like what I'm gonna look like to come and tell my mama. Imagine me come and tell my mama I'm going to Nairobi, And he wouldn't let it go. And he was like, you can come and, you would be my wife, and just like they would treat you like a queen, and anything that you want, you would have. And I was just like, no, thank you. No, thank you.
This sounds like that Good Times episode.
like-
I'll say it's like Coming to America.
For real. So I went, and she asked
Like,
me,
for real.
I talked to her afterwards, and she was like, how did it go? And I said, well, it was nice. I said, but he asked me to come to Africa with him, like to Nairobi. And he said that I would be like his queen. And she was like, so what you said? And I was like, girl, I said no.
What? I said no.
I said no.
Like, I'm here with you.
She was like,
you see where
he's a
I'm
really
at.
nice guy, and he's right. You would be treated like a queen, like he's very honored and revered in, and I was just like, girl, pump your brakes, sis, because that's not what's gonna happen.
She was trying to set you up.
And that's when I think I kind of came to the realization, like that was very intentional. Like she intentionally asked me to be his guide. But you're not finna have me in Nairobi to be your concubine, sir. That's what we not gonna do. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. What's not happening today?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
no.
Yes. But it was a good experience overall.
Hilarious.
It really was.
Yes.
Tell us about Pledge and
LaTrice.
Delta. Queen LaTrice.
Queen LaTrice.
Listen, I am the queen.
We got to have your flower petals.
Listen,
Right.
all the things. I pledged my senior year, the last semester of my senior year.
Oh, you waited to the almost end. Okay.
Kind of, sort of. I didn't really have a choice because my freshman year, our chapter got suspended. And they were suspended for 3 years.
Okay.
And so my senior year, the first semester of my senior year, was their first line since I had been in college. And so I actually, yes, we had to wait. I had to wait. And I never wanted to be nothing but a Delta. Like there was no other option for me, And so they had a line, a follow 3 line, which was that first semester of my senior year. And I put in the application, me and my roommate at the time, Kylie. Shout out to Kylie. Hey, Moose. But we actually planned to be line sisters. Like we put in our application together, and it was a whole bunch of stuff. We made it on that line, but then it didn't work out. And so I was devastated. She was devastated because this had been the plan, our whole collegiate experience. And then they came back and did another line for Spring 04, which was my last semester of college. And we put in again, and we both got it. And so now we are line sisters. She's number 9. One of my really, really close friends in life, Crystal, is number 10. I'm 11. And so it's like, 9, 10, 11, we like the 3 musketeers, but we did end up being line sisters. And she actually was here a couple weeks ago. So, hey, Moose.
Oh,
Yeah.
yay. I'm glad you got to do it. Especially I was going to ask, did you want to consider any other sorority, but I'm glad you were able to.
And let me tell you, the other sorority, I was popular. I knew a lot of people because I braided hair. So Kylie and I, we were roommates for a while, but we met in her freshman year, my sophomore year, because we both braided hair. And this was like the early 2000s. If you could braid hair, you was that girl. You know what I'm saying? And so we both braided hair on campus, and so we knew everybody. Everybody knew us because we was braiding everybody's hair. 9 times out of 10, if you got your hair braided at UL between 2000 and 2004 or 5, Trice or Kylie braided your hair, So we knew everybody. And when we did our probate, my comment, like, you have to do your little intro or whatever. And so my intro was, many tried to get me, but they didn't have a chance. That's why my sorors know me as the Crimson Avalanche. My line name is Crimson Avalanche. And so, yes.
2 snaps. All right.
I came up with that myself too. I was very proud of that. But it's the truth. Like other organizations had approached me because I had friends in multiple organizations, and I always was like, I appreciate it, but no, I'm gonna wait, because you're not supposed to tell people what you're interested in. But in my mind, I was like, I'm going to wait. If it doesn't happen, it's because it's not meant to happen. And that's just, I just have to accept that. But there was no other option besides Delta Sigma Theta, because growing up, I grew up in a Black Catholic church, and all of the women in my church that helped to raise me, that nurtured me, that I looked up to, that I, idolized in a lot of ways, all of those women were deltas. And so it was already ingrained in me that I want to be that type of woman. I want to be the kind of woman that I saw growing up. And those were all delta women. And so there was no other option for me. And it didn't matter what anybody else said, that was it for me. And so, yeah, I'm very grateful that I had an opportunity to have that experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yay, me too. That's awesome to like hear that you were able to still do it. So what like other like clubs and organizations like were you a part of? Were you president? Did you serve on any other boards or anything?
Not really. Not really. I ain't gonna hold you. I didn't really do a whole lot. But I mean I did a lot, but I didn't
Okay.
do a lot at the
You
same
said
time.
you showed up. You showed up to
I
support. You
did.
just wasn't.
I
Yeah.
showed up to the events, like I went to, if y'all was having a little forum, if y'all, I went to all of the probates and stuff. I was more interested in the extracurricular stuff, like the partying and stuff, because this is the thing. I went to all the parties, I went to all the fashion shows. I did college, okay? But I also got my ass up and went to class in the morning, and that was where a lot of
Right.
people fail themselves, okay? So
Yeah.
We've heard the stories. They didn't make it. It wasn't a
listen,
good balance. It was
listen,
either
listen. I've seen some of the best go down. Okay, and for me though, I was also very intentional because I had 4 years. I had TOPS. So in the state of Louisiana, there was a statewide financial aid essentially called TOPS. And TOPS gives you 4 years. You only get 4 years, or at that time, you only get 4 years. And so I was like, I got to get in and out in 4 years. And so I didn't really give my time or attention to other things because I needed to really be able to focus on school and then also, get to these parties and things. So I didn't really do a whole lot of other stuff. But they had a lot of things like, they had a lot of other things to do. Oh, you know what I did? I was in the gospel choir.
come on.
Yes.
You better get that clap on the 1 and the 3.
Yes.
I was in the gospel
Come
choir.
on.
I can't
Hey,
believe I
hey,
almost forgot
hey.
that. So we had the UL gospel choir, but like I said, I grew up in a Black Catholic church, and for those who don't know or understand, Black Catholic is Black but Catholic, or Catholic but Black. You know what I'm saying? Like
But black.
it's black is like
Absolutely.
it's
Excellent.
black. So we sang all of the songs. You don't know my story. He's able. All of the songs that you was singing in a Black church, we sang those songs. It's just that we were Catholic. So the gospel choir at UL was an opportunity for me to still have that as a part of my life. So I was a part of the
Nice.
gospel
I love
choir
Mm-hmm.
for a
that.
few years, and it was me and my friends, a group of friends. We all sang in the gospel choir together, and we used to sing at churches. We used to go to festivals and events and things. That was the one thing that I did do.
Yes.
Well, I was in the gospel choir. Yeah.
Did y'all have robes?
No, no, we did not.
Not at all.
We did not have robes, but we
Listen.
did have coordinated outfits. You know how they do. Like, we gonna wear all black
Oh.
today. We
Okay.
gonna wear, blue tops and black bottoms or whatever it
I don't
is.
know why I just pictured y'all at the end of like Sister Act, that last
That
scene.
no,
Joy for
like
joy for look. I don't know why that went in my head. Like,
I put none before thee.
I don't know
listen.
why that was the vision I had when she
But
said
let me tell
no,
you,
no robes.
we used
Like,
to
where
go
your street
hard. Like
clothes?
we were really really good, like and we enjoyed it, and it was an
Mm-hmm.
opportunity for me because I had really at that time I started separating from Catholicism. I never was. I mean, I was always Catholic, but I never really fully believed everything, because confession was my deal breaker. Like, so you telling me I got to go in here and tell this man what I did, and then instead of just telling God directly, I mean, I thought I could talk to the Lord myself. You know what I'm saying? That never really set well with me. You know? So,
well, I think they say Mary got something to do with it. So
listen, but well, you know, it's so crazy because I literally was just having this conversation last week, and we ain't gonna go too far off track. But people believe that Catholics worship Mary, but it's not. It's not a worship of Mary. It is an honoring of Mary as the mother of God. But I think all mothers should be honored. And when we do have a prayer called Hail Mary, but if you listen and actually pay attention to the words of the Hail Mary prayer, it's saying, Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now. So that's no difference in me saying, sis, I'm going through something. I need you to say a prayer for me. It's not saying, can you fix it? It's saying, can you talk to your child for me and tell him to take care of me? You know, like asking Mary to pray for us or to pray on our behalf. That's a common misconception that people have. But, you know, anyway, the gospel choir, being a part of the gospel choir, growing up as a church kid, it gave me an opportunity to really still have that spirituality. And it really was the jumping off point for me in my spiritual exploration, because I got exposed to all different religions. We had Baptist, we had Pentecostal. I had never heard of a Kojic before I was in the UL Gospel Choir. That was very interesting. You know what I'm saying? Like learning about these different denominations and things. And it kind of kickstarted my exploration of spirituality, because up until that point, all I knew was Catholicism. So it was good.
Okay, I know y'all didn't have robes, but did y'all have like coordinated hand claps? Like, what were we doing? We had some choreography.
We had a little bit of choreography. We did. We had a little bit of choreography here and there. You know what I'm saying? Like we went hard. Okay. I had a solo.
Okay, soloist.
See, I knew it was gonna get something. Come on. What was the song?
The song was what was the song, girl? I want to say it was The Storm Is Over Now. No, they don't know my story. They don't know my story. All the things that I've been through. Yes, I shared the solo with this dude named Jason. I don't know where Jason at now, but he tried to play me because I had never did a solo before.
Jason.
Listen, let me tell you, he tried to play me. I had never done a solo before, and I could hold a note because I've been in the choir my entire life, you know. And if I'm in the shower, bitch, I'm Grammy winning, okay? But
listen,
but actually, like singing in front of people, it makes me extremely nervous. Like I'm talking like legs shaking, feeling like, you know, lightheaded. Like I get lots of anxiety about singing in front of people. And so it was my first ever solo, and I was, you know, putting myself out there. And so I wasn't as seasoned as he was. And he tried to show me up. You know what I'm saying? He tried to show me up.
See, this sound like a movie right here. Yeah. This sound like a movie.
My life is like a movie.
We don't like this, Jason.
What he do when y'all got out there? What he tried
to do?
He
was just singing all extra hard. Like, you don't need to be singing that hard, sir.
Extra vibrato?
Yeah,
he did an extra run.
Extra run.
Yeah, like you
like, bottom lip quivering.
Why you doing all of that? I don't like why you gotta go that hard. I don't understand why you gotta go that hard. And you know I'm over here voice shaking and shit. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like he was intentionally trying to make me look bad. But you know, God don't like us.
And he was trying to let you know that this is his solo.
I think that's really what it was. That's really what it was.
You know how them soloists be, this is who I am.
He said, I wanted verses 1, 2, and 3. Okay, I didn't want to share not Nan verse with LaTrice. Okay,
but you know what? It also
do the ad libs. I take everything.
Listen, but I think it also kind of speaks to community because I was like lightweight forced into doing that solo. Like, the choir director was like, you should sing this solo. And I was like, oh, I don't know about that, And then my friends was just like, you can sing this solo. Because we used to sit in the courtyard over at the dorms and we used to just sing all kind of stuff. Like we was some singing ass people, But it was different because it was like we was chilling and we was having fun. And so I'm not like singing for real. I'm just singing with y'all. And so they really encouraged me to do that solo and to like have that moment. And it just, I think, really speaks to the community of it all. And because that's really how we supported each other in all things.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I love that. I'm glad they pushed you to do it.
Yeah. Forget him. You still did good. I wasn't even there, but I know you did good, sis.
I felt it. I feel it in my spirit.
Yes.
He just wanted to do his lip quiver and be seen. He'd be all right.
I don't even think he graduated. So, God don't like ugly.
See? He was too busy singing, not doing other stuff.
Well,
what Pam said, singing in the background.
Yes. Yes.
Shout out to Pam and Gina.
Oh.
Okay.
Party on at this PWI. So we talk about party on at this PWI. So what music did you get exposed to, or predominantly white artists that you may have gotten exposed to that you did not know about until you went to a PWI?
Ooh. That is so it's interesting because I've been at PWI not my whole life. My elementary and stuff was Black, but I went to a white high school. There was a handful of Black folks at my high school. I graduated from Archbishop Blank High School in Gretna, Louisiana. And so I got exposed to a lot of, white music then, you know what I'm saying? So it wasn't much because one thing that I know and understand, having been around white people my entire life, is that they like the same songs from birth until like adulthood. Like they don't be letting them songs go. I think one of the songs that I was most surprised by is they really enjoyed I Be Stroking. I be stroking. That's what I be doing. I be stroking to the east and stroking to the west.
Get to the west.
I'm talking about
and move to that one. And
yes, yeah.
To
you got
it. No. You talking about? I'm talking about. I be stroking. You know that song? I be stroking.
Oh no,
that's what I be doing. I be stroking. Hey, that's what I be doing.
It's the way I did not expect that at all.
East and stroking to the west, and I stroke it to the one that I love best. Hey, I be stroking.
Best, yeah.
Oh, that's what
I be stroking. Miss Day enjoys. I be stroking. Okay, it's that's so weird to me. Like that is extremely weird.
That's very weird.
But one of my favorite white people songs. I ain't gonna hold you. I ain't gonna lie. If this song came on right now, I would go up. I'm not even gonna lie.
Okay.
We might have to make that happen.
Cotton Eye Joe.
Go ahead.
Y'all know that song? I've been mad a long time ago. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you go? Where did you come from? Cotton Eye Joe.
I cannot stand that song.
Oh, listen. I'm talking about
Adell hates that song.
I hate that song with a passion.
It goes hard.
LaTrice, what is he even saying? But
let me tell you though, I think for me,
what is he even saying?
Being in that space, I remember the first time I heard that song, I was in high school at a high school dance, and that song came on, and them white girls lost their mind. I'm talking about
they go crazy. They go crazy. They do
crazy. Yeah. And I was like, what
Melvin say? Like, kitty litter for white women? That's Cotton Eye Joe. Yes. Yes.
I was like, yes. What is happening right now? Like, what's going on? And then when I got to UL, we used to have this big event every year called Lanyap Day. So Lanyap Day was everybody's favorite day of the year. I'm talking about Black, white, purple, green, blue, orange. It did not matter. Lanyap Day was your favorite day of the year because it was essentially field day for the whole university. And so
Oh,
they would,
that's fun.
girl, it's a big ass crawfish boil. So they would boil thousands of pounds of crawfish, and they would set it out. It would be at
Raging
the
Cajun.
auditorium, and I'm talking about crawfish with all the fixings, potatoes, sausage, corn, all the fixings, all free. At Lanyap Day, but you have to be a student in order to attend. You have to show your student ID in order to attend. And then they would have like the sororities, they had like a little step competition, and the white people would be stepping, the black people would be stepping.
Yes.
And then it was like games all day. They had all types of games set up, like them big sumo games and jumping. And I mean, it was just a big ass field day. And we all would get a chance to go out there and play. Let me tell you, you play Cotton Eye Joe on field day, it's a good time. I'm talking about it's a good time. Like nobody is sitting in their seat. Like it's a good time. We thoroughly enjoyed
That
ourselves.
is funny.
So that's one of my favorites.
And shout out to whoever made all that crawfish. Like that's a lot. Like for the whole campus.
For the entire, I'm talking about thousands of pounds of crawfish, and it was never ending. Like they never ran out of crawfish, and everybody went to Lanyap Day. Everybody went to Lanyap Day. So yeah,
that's dope.
That's awesome.
It's like they did a lot of things on your campus to kind of like really make sure people were doing stuff like collectively. Like it's like they really went the extra step to make sure like there was nothing short of like activities. Like there was stuff to do and parties, Lanyap Day. That's super cool. I'd have been present every year. Like that's awesome.
It was, and we had like the students got along. The white students got along with the black students. Like everybody got along. We all enjoyed UL together. And it's one of the things that I say, like, now I live in South Florida, which I love. But it is different. It has a lot of culture, but I come from a place with culture. The thing about New Orleans and Louisiana in a lot of ways is that there's a wealth of culture, but it is a single culture, like it is a shared culture. We all go to Mardi Gras. Every little town have their own version of Mardi Gras, It's not exactly how it is in New Orleans, but it's Mardi Gras. It's basically Mardi Gras. Everybody does crawfish. Everybody does gumbo. Everybody does jambalaya. Everybody does dirty rice. Like it's a lot of culture, but it's homogenous in a lot of ways. Whereas here in South Florida, you have pockets of culture. So you got the Haitians, the Colombians, you got the Cubans, you got the Jamaicans. So it's still a way to get involved in those cultures. But I think they did a really good job of keeping us entertained. They did a really good job of bringing in diverse talent. The student services department, I think, did a really good job of catering to the Black students to make sure that we didn't feel othered, and that we had events and things that were set up specifically for us. I enjoyed my collegiate experience from start to finish. I would not have changed anything.
There's no place like home. There's no place like home. There's no place like home.
We always ask our guests if there was ever a moment where you did want to click your heels 3 times and go home. Like, I don't know if I can do this. Did you ever have that moment?
I didn't. I did not.
Wow.
I did not. Well, I mean, there was one moment when I got chased by a squirrel. But that was it.
Okay, let's go. Let's go.
No, LaTrice, I cannot with you. Not a squirrel.
Let me tell you.
Why were you, first of all?
So at UL, listen, this is the heart of Cajun country. So I just need y'all to understand this country.
Raging
Cajuns.
Yes.
We ain't the Raging Cajuns for nothing, okay? Outside of the student union, we have the porch, and there is a literal swamp in the middle of campus. I'm talking about swamp in the middle of campus. And so we used to sit out there like it was, it was the courtyard. It was, it was the union. And we used to sit out there all the time. And there were a lot of squirrels because it was a lot of trees, cypress trees, and a lot of mossy areas. Like we in nature, we in nature. And so the squirrels were ridiculous. Like those squirrels weren't afraid of anything. A squirrel, like if you're sitting outside eating your food, a squirrel will really walk up and take your food from you off your table. And it's like, squirrel, what are you doing? But you're not supposed to feed the squirrels. But people be feeding the squirrels or whatever. But they had
People do.
alligators and everything.
Squirrel.
So
People
one
are
time
people.
the squirrel, I was walking to class and I was eating my food and
Wait,
walking to
Hold
class.
on.
Wait, we will. No, Trees, we
No,
will not fast
no.
forward.
It's how you just like breezed over alligators. Like
Right.
me and Anna both got. Girl,
What are you talking about?
We see squirrels. You was just like, yeah, with the squirrels and be alligators. But this one squirrel,
Yeah, there were
I need
alligators.
more
it was just
information.
gators just hanging out on your campus.
The alligators lived in the swamp. Yes, it was a family of alligators that lived in the
It's a no
swamp.
for me.
Yeah, and but we
Not the family.
it was a little family of alligators that lived in the swamp. But the swamp, they had walls and shit built up, so it's not like you just I mean, people did fall in the swamp sometimes, but the alligators was domesticated. They was domesticated. They wasn't we never, in the 4 years
So
that
much
I was
information.
there.
I'm so confused. This city kid right here,
Girl,
city kid
I
right
co-sign. Listen,
is incredibly concerned.
it's the domesticated alligators for me. She was like, yeah, they had walls, but they was domesticated. People did fall in. Huh?
Hold on.
I can't get to the squirrel. I'm scared of the alligators.
We was cool with the alligators, okay? Like they didn't really fuck with us. Y'all don't fuck with us. We ain't gonna fuck with y'all. But the alligators were very well fed. You know what I'm saying? So it was not like I was in school for 4 years, and then I stayed in Lafayette another 2 years. Never, not once was there an incident with any of those alligators. Never, not one time. The squirrels will get you before the alligators will, girl.
Okay.
Don't do me.
So you was eating and the squirrel came in and grabbed your food?
He was trying to, girl. The little squirrel started running behind me, and I was like, go ahead, little squirrel, because I will kick your ass. Stop playing with me. But he had chased me on the cool. But yeah, it worked out. But other than that, I really did not have a moment that I was just like, I don't want to be here. I thoroughly enjoyed my time at UL Lafayette. I could not have asked for a better experience. It was more than I ever could have imagined that it would have been. And so that's why when people have these conversations about going to HBCU and you have to have the HBCU experience, it's like, I get that. And I think that for some people, the HBCU experience is necessary, but I grew up in a Black church. I grew up around Black people. I didn't feel like I was missing out on the Black experience by being at UL. We had a very, very Black experience at UL. I'm very glad that I had that opportunity to just have that experience in my life, because it really has shaped who I am,
Yeah, definitely. And I appreciate you even saying that, because you're able to kind of have a little bit of both worlds, within this space. It sounds like, you still got to hang out with white people and Black people. You braiding hair, you got alligators on campus. Like you had a few nature experiences. It was a lot. But I do think it's worth noting, like, you're able to find your community and then some, it sounds like in your experience, in your school. So that's super dope.
Yeah.
I have a question. How did you know?
How did you know?
Our final segment is about that. Like when you looked around, was there ever that one like aha moment where you're like, yo, I could do this. I love this. I really like going here. Like, how did you know? that you were in the space that you wanted to be in?
I'll be honest. At freshman orientation, I knew from freshman orientation. We had freshman orientation was about a month before school started. So all of the freshmen came up for a weekend, and it was just freshmen. We stayed in the dorms and stuff. And for those 3 days at freshman orientation, you choose your classes, take tours of the campus so you know where all your classes are going to be, et cetera, et cetera. And so when I got to freshman orientation, I connected with a group of about 5 people who were also freshmen, who were from all over the state of Louisiana. It was very, very interesting. And we just instantly connected with each other. And we said, when we come back, when school start in a month, we gonna meet up at this in this spot on this day, and we gonna rock together. And that's what we did. Now, we didn't all survive, that semester. But from that moment, like, just feeling like it was really the first time that I felt like I could really be myself. In high school, I wasn't like, I just kind of stayed to myself in high school because, I was a good girl. They was doing shit that I wasn't really into. And y'all both know me personally. I have very low tolerance for foolishness. And what you're not going to do is keep fucking playing with me. And so it was a lot of that in high school. I went to an all-girl high school. And it was very cliquish, and all of that. And I always was on the outside of that. I had friends, but not in my grade necessarily. And so it was the first time that I really felt like I could be myself. Like, it was a clean slate. It was a fresh slate to start anew and like really start to explore and discover who I am on my own by myself. And so just to have that natural connection with those people, I think I knew, right. And then also finding psychology, and just all of those things put together, it felt like home. And not for nothing, but the campus is beautiful. The campus is gorgeous, and they've made some renovations and things since then, but the campus is absolutely amazing. So it was like all of those things put together. I knew at freshman orientation that I had made the right decision. So I love you, Al.
I love that for you.
Yeah. It really helped me to, like, my friends that I made during that time, we always say, like, we grew up together, like, because we grew into adulthood together. We all was navigating it, figuring it out together, and they set the stage for us to be able to do that. So I have nothing but positive memories.
Absolutely. Yay.
Love that. Thank you, LaTrice, for joining us today on the Head Nod.
Thank you.
And I'm on the lookout for them alligators, domesticated ones.
The domesticated one. They in class with them. They sit and learn lessons too.
Let me tell you.
I love it.
But if you ever get a chance to eat some alligator, go on and do that too, because it's tasty.
Yeah, I've had some. It's good.
It's still good.
Recommend it. Recommend it.
Definitely.
Yes.
Thanks, LaTrice.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to the Head Nod Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us on the Qube app and at DCP Official across social. Family, follow my sis Adell at I am Adell Coleman across all socials.
And follow the coolest to ever do it, DeShawn at DeShawn on all socials.
Listen wherever you get your podcasts. And if you really dig it, leave a rating and a review. Keep nodding your heads with us. Until next time, this is the Head Nod.